It's your boy ConcertViz34. Just want to give a 2021 concert outlook update. And this is going to be from where I sit here, February 7th, 2021. What I think live music is going to look like for 2021 as we are 2 months into the year. Now, keep in mind, again, this is February 7th, 2021 as I record this. And this is just what I think right now. Things are going to change. And I may do some other videos like this towards the end of the year to look at 2021 and eventually 2022, what music's going to be like. We know for certain people are already touring. People are already performing live music. You have cities like Nashville. You can have 50% capacity at some of these live music venues. It's a music city of all sorts of music that intersect at Nashville. They're open. Texas is open. Florida is open. South Carolina is open. You having live music. You have open bars with live music opportunities for your local musicians. You have comedians and smaller time bands performing in these select states and select cities that are more opened up. So you're going to have those people to continue to tour. And then you're going to look to see, I think, California and New York, which are just like me here in Connecticut, you really can't see live music during the wintertime where there's no open air events that are feasible. For, obviously Southern California can do that. Even NorCal could possibly, but really a lot of stuff, it's just shut down in general. But you're going to start to see that they're going to look to open this up because economically these states are taking a huge hit because everything was shut down for much longer. The lockdowns were stricter. Now they're being lifted for better or for worse. They got it. They can't keep these businesses shut down forever. So you're going to see changes, but ultimately the local musicians will find a way back. Your comedians are finding the way back. The club appearances for a little Bow Wow or this rapper or that rapper, you're seeing that in Texas. You're seeing that in Florida. You're seeing that in South Carolina and other states. You have your mid-tier acts, right? Your mid-tier acts are going to do a lot of what they did last year. I think of Humphreys McGee. I think of Manchester Orchestra. I think of Citizen Cope. These were acts I saw here in the Northeast and in other parts of the country doing the drive-ins. You'll see those come back. They did socially distant shows here in Connecticut where you had pods, 2 people max, space 6 to 8 feet between the different pods and all that type of cool stuff here. Great idea here for Morris, Connecticut and the farm they have there. But they're going to continue that. They're also supplementing some of their money. And you're seeing the local musicians do this, but some of it's kind of died off because they're just local. But you're seeing the mid-tier acts do these streaming concerts. I did pay for a Citizen Cope concert last year where he did a full set. He kind of interacted with fans. He actually did some shows where he played an album in its entirety. So I paid for one of those, got a signed poster for paying for the show. Humphreys McGee is doing, as I record this, the weekend of the February 5th through the 7th. They did some shows this weekend where fans got to vote on certain songs that they wanted to hear, right? So it's a stream pay-per-view type thing. You pay to see this band stream a show. You get great audio, you get great visuals, and it's a cool special thing for the diehards. That's a revenue that's just gonna keep going. And then those acts, like I said, are gonna go to the drive-ins and the other type of events because they're a mid-tier act, right? They can get 500 to 1,000 people socially distanced is feasible for the demand they have. Matter of fact, because people miss live music, some people who don't even know much about these acts, same thing with Warren Haynes and Danny Lewis, who I saw last year, socially distanced, they're going to go just because they want to feel live music. Live music cleanses the soul, and you can do it safely with these mid-tier acts. Here's what I want to talk for the rest of the video about. These are the large-scale acts. These are the Dave Matthews Bands, the Jay-Z's, the Beyoncé's, the Ariana Grande's, the Bruno Mars's. These are acts that can sell out an arena of 15 to 20,000 people. They can sell out, in some cases, amphitheaters of up 25, 30,000 people. And they can even, at certain artists, like at Ed Sheeran, like an Ariana Grande, they can sell out stadiums. Kenny Chesney, Luke Bryan. They can sell out your football stadium. These are the acts that people are waiting for because we've gotten a taste of our mid-tier music. We've gotten a taste of our local musicians, which we've been able to see socially distanced. But it's been a year plus since many people have seen these big name acts in person, barring some minor one-offs here and there. So this is the issue with these artists coming back with a full crowd. The issue is a lot of these acts, not all of them, but many of these acts feel like they have a social responsibility to think of their customers first, think of their fans first, even if their fans aren't thinking about their own safety or the risk they run by not getting this vaccine. Here's the thing. Let's just assume that June 1st, let's assume that June 1st, 2021, any American can drive within an hour or two of where they live and find a vaccine shot for COVID-19. And then in the middle of June, they can get that second shot. Or if they just need one shot, they get it June 1st and that's it. Let's just assume by the end of June 2021, anyone who wants the 2 vaccine shots can get them in the month of June. Even so, there are going to be diehard music fans who have opted out of having that vaccination. And they run the risk of, if they go to a live show, they could catch COVID. And they know it, and they've decided to make that choice. Whether you agree or disagree, that's their right. Here's the issue. There are bands like Pearl Jam and the Dave Matthews Band and even the Jay-Z's and Beyonce's that may feel like, hey, if we only have X amount of Americans, if there's a report that only this percentage of Americans have been vaccinated and it's 50%, and this is after we have a supply that meets the demand. If it's only 50% or 60%, well, they know that there's a good chance that the rest, that 40% or 50% of people who didn't get the vaccination willingly did not get it. They could go to their show, they could fly out to their show, and they could get COVID somewhere along the way, even if they test negative. Because that's the thing. You can take a test 3 days prior to the show, test negative, get to the show, and then you're positive, right? You've flown or you've driven somewhere, and now you have COVID. And ultimately, this is the issue about the reality of trying to see an artist who has 10,000 fans or more in a venue. The reality is this, that is not going to be feasible because the artist is not going to feel comfortable doing a full tour where they have 10,000 to 20,000 fans a night, if not more, at their venues, potentially putting themselves at risk for COVID. Well, yes, you could have half or even 75% of the venue be vaccinated by the fall. There's still a 25% that's going to these shows, going to these cities, eating food that could catch this thing. And they could go to the hospital, they could die. Now, yes, it's a risk. You could argue what percentage it is, all this other things, but there could be someone that goes to their show, catches COVID, and something happens to them, hospital or death. And you can say it's on that person, which is true. It's 100% on the person. They decided not to get the vaccine. That was their choice, and they knew the risk they ran. But artists are going to feel horrible. Certain artists, some won't, because they'll say, hey, that's their choice. They did it. But many artists will feel a personal responsibility if there's a news story that so-and-so was on social media. And this is how they do it. When people pass away or when people do this, and that, they find the social media. We saw this with the Capitol riots and other stuff. They find what they were doing before. So if someone passes away from COVID and their social media account is looked at by the news and it's showing, yeah, going to Dave Matthews, going to Jigga Jay-Z, it's the rock, bruh. And that's what they're seeing the week of that they were hospitalized, and they're going down, no mask, chilling. Yeah, we at the show, we chilling, high five, dap it up, all this other stuff. If that's what they see, that artist is going to feel horrible. That artist is going to feel bad, depending on the artist. But many of these big name artists have expressed that the fans' safety and their safety comes first. And ultimately, that is why I don't think that we're going to have these big name artists doing a full scale tour until 2022. There could be some that do these one-off shows. You could have some artists that don't care. But look, the majority of these artists care. You may get a rock star or a country act or a hip hop artist who decides to do it, but you're not getting Dave Matthews or you're not getting Pearl Jam to tour when there's still a lot of the population without this vaccine. They don't even need to tour. They got the money. They got the guap. They're more worried about their social responsibility. And they feel part of that is keeping their fans safe by saying we're cutting the tour off until things are fully better. That's the message. We'll be back when things are safer and better. And if people are still dying of COVID at certain rates or getting hospitalizations, they're not touring. Let me know what you guys think. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. We'll see how things go, but this is a reality that we can't avoid. And you can talk about, oh, they can have a COVID section of people who have the vaccine. Yeah, maybe put them up front. And I'll maybe talk about that in another video. But it's just, to me, it's not feasible to have COVID and non-COVID. It's an arena by the winter time. Fall and winter, it's going to be arenas. or even outside, there's always that risk, right? And artists, even if you sign every fan signs a waiver, they will feel responsible if someone passes away or someone's in critical condition. And what they find on the social media is they were going to this show. They were flying out. They were looking with no mask, chilling at the bars before the shows, and they were going to their show, and that's what caused it. Like I said, that's all I got for today. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Hopefully Brady gets the dub. That's all I got. Peace.